Hi, I'm Jerry Aliberti, owner of Pro-Accel. In this video, we're going to talk about a takeoff. Why is it important? Let's start off with the purpose of a takeoff. The purpose of a takeoff is the process of quantifying labor, material, and equipment. Without a takeoff, you cannot put together a budget, whether it's for estimating or even out in the field if you're putting together a budget out in the field, right? For example, if you need to order material out in the field, you need to do a takeoff, right? You need to understand how much you need for each particular stage that you're going through. As far as estimating goes, it is the foundation for any kind of budget. You need to understand how much material you need to include, how much labor you need to include, and what kind of equipment you need, right? So a takeoff is a process of kind of just going through those plans, going through those specs, and really understanding what you need for every single scope of project, of work. It's also a way to track your logic many months down the line. I know several estimators or many estimators who don't really take their takeoffs too serious. And guess what happens? Many months down the line, 6 months, a year down the line, you try to go back to your bid and you really don't understand how you came up with a certain quantity. You know, you have 3,000 cubic yards of concrete, but you just don't understand how you came up with 3,000 because now 6 months later, everyone's like, well, I'm coming up with 3,500. I'm coming up with 2,800. Well, how did you come up with your 3,000? So it's really important to do a good takeoff. And it's a great way for you to track your logic many months down the line, because many months down the line, you're going to be working on many more projects, right? Software. What kind of software do you use? You can use a simple Excel spreadsheet. I love using Excel spreadsheets. But as projects get more complicated, you want to invest in different kinds of software. There's software where you upload PDFs of plan sheets. You can come up with the area by actually putting it in the scale of that PDF sheet. You come up with the area, and then you can put the height to come up with a volume. There's software. There's plenty of software for earthwork, right? You put a PDF in with the existing contours, and then you put a PDF in with the proposed contours. And then, you know, I don't want to get into the details of that specific software, but it calculates your fills and your cuts. Now, when you're over the course of many, many acres, that is not easy to do by hand, which was the old way of doing things, right? So nowadays, utilizing software gives you precise takeoffs. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more, a little further on, about why it's really important to have precise takeoffs, right? So the important things about takeoffs. One, accuracy is a must. You need to be accurate with your takeoffs. If your takeoffs are not accurate, there's no way you're going to have a great budget, a great estimate. You're just not going to have that. And unfortunately, you're going to learn later on down the line when the project is 6 months in, a year in, that your takeoffs were inaccurate. A lot of people like to blame the field, but it also comes back to estimating, right? So it's really important that you're clear and you're precise with all your takeoffs. Hence the reason why I'm pushing software on this as well, right? So you must be clean, organized, and it's got to be easily legible. I personally, what I like to do is I like to run through the tasks, starting from what the first task is. Let's say a concrete wall, right? What's the first task you're going to be doing? You're going to be putting your back forms on. Then you're going to be putting your rebar in. Then you're going to be putting your front forms on, right? Then you're going to be pouring the wall. Then you're going to be stripping the wall. Then from there, if it's exposed to the public, you're going to be rubbing the wall, right? Because you have to fill in all the honeycombs. Maybe you need to seal the wall. So starting from the first step and working your way all the way down to the last step is how I like to start my takeoffs. Then from there, I like to transfer that information into a spreadsheet. In this video on the bottom in the description, I put a template of a concrete wall. Just a simple template. You can manipulate it how you wish and take it from there. Also, good takeoffs make it easier to bid more aggressive work. If your boss, the chief estimator, or if you actually feel comfortable in your own takeoffs, and your boss feels comfortable with your own takeoffs, you're able to bid work a little bit more aggressive. It's a mindset. It really, if you understand exactly what's entailed inside of that bid and your takeoffs are legit, then from there, decreasing those productions or maybe going a little bit more aggressive in a bid becomes a lot easier. Especially when you're bidding much larger projects and you have more productive work. Smaller projects, you don't really have much productive work. They're not big labor jobs. So, it's tough to do that. But really good organized takeoffs is imperative. It's absolutely imperative. And again, to go back to what I said before, many months down the line, you're going to want to go back to those takeoffs and they got to be organized. Another important note is details. In the PDF that I have attached or the Excel spreadsheet that I have attached, you got to be really detailed in each and every one of your takeoffs. You got to write a description of what you're actually taking off, a location. Is it on the northeast corner? Whatever you're taking off has got to be labeled somehow, some way. Maybe it's through station points if you're on a roadway project, right? Again, to go back to the example of a concrete wall. Length, what's the width, what's the height, what's the volume, then you break it out. What's the forms, how many faces of the wall of the forms, right? What's the height? And then rebar, right? You want to break down each and every one of the different kinds of rebars that you have for that particular wall so somebody can understand. So overall, a takeoff is an absolute critical part of any kind of budget. Without a good takeoff, you're not going to be doing a good budget. You're going to realize many, many months down the line when you're a low bid that you screwed up one of your takeoffs, for example, right? But you want to be able to go back and track it as well. So I hope you enjoyed this quick video. My next video is going to be about how to actually do some real estimating.